Okay, hello everybody, welcome back. Something I forgot to do at the end of the last episode is to collapse these nodes. What was I thinking? Collapse to nodes, stats, HUD. What should I color this? We already have all the primary colors. I like a nice kind of green in there. Alright. Some collapse nodes. Nice, okay. So today I'm going to begin the implementation of weapons. Now, you probably saw this last episode if you watched until I had my other project up. I have this weapon sitting on the ground as a thing I can't run into. But it's a gun, and I can equip it, and nothing else happens. That is literally it. So that took me about 4 hours to figure out. But I'm going to show it to you in a relatively quick amount of time. So this is the first time we're kind of straying away from our character blueprint. We will do some things here, but not too much. The shooting node will eventually be a per gun thing instead of a player thing. So each gun will probably have a different shooting mechanic, so it would make sense for the shooting function to be on the gun, not the thing. That also means if you saw, like, I'll show you. So when I equip it and I shoot, it doesn't spawn in the right spot. So I can make those offsets part of the gun, so it can be gun specific, so it can be correct. First thing we're going to need, blueprint class. Actor. Gun. Cool, I'm going to put my other project over here, so I do not forget what I am doing. Alright. Now in this gun, I named it gun instead of weapon. Let's name the folder guns instead of weapons. Guns. So, first things first, we're gonna need a capsule collision component. Actually, no. No. Collision. Let's do box collision, because that makes a whole lot of sense. Box collision. And then the other thing we're gonna need is a paper sprite. And this is going to be how our gun appears in the game. And what else do I need to do to that? I think that's it. No, I need to get the sprite offsets. So like a good old 90-degree spin. Okay. Now, I'm going to use something called a structure. And this is something we're going to come back to a bit. Blueprints, structure. This is going to be our gun, struct gun. And this is going to be, I need to name this BP for blueprint underscore gun. Structure is kind of a way to keep track of certain variables that an object will need in one simple place. So for now, all we're going to have is, we only need 3. One, sorry, let me get over here. We need the equipped texture. This will be how it looks when it's on the player, which will be a paper flipbook. We will need a HUD texture, which will also be how it appears in the game, which will be a texture 2D. right? Let me check that. Yes. Yes, that's correct. Okay, sorry about that. And then we need one more thing for now, which will be the shot interval. And this is how we're really going to see the difference in the guns for now. It's not a Boolean, that's float. My bad. Alright, so now we have the basic structure for guns, so let's make one. Gun 1. We're going to create a blueprint based off of this blueprint class. It's going to call it gun child, but we're going to rename it to BP underscore gun 1. Drag that into our gun 1 folder. Cool. Now we have some assets we have to deal with. In tutorial content, there will be gun 1 HUD at some point, if I get around to it. Drag that in, and gun 1 in-game. Now, these will probably change a bit. And we need to make both of these into paper sprites as well. Okay, so BP gun 1. We go to our blueprint and we select our paper sprite, and we're going to use the gun 1 HUD sprite. As you can see, that's our gun. But we're going to edit this sprite a little bit. Instead of type bounding box, we need to use shrink wrapped to get rid of ghosting. Cool. I don't know why I went into the game there. Is this the right project? Yes. Okay. Done with that. Now what? Let's make the box fit the sprite a little bit better. Oh. No. Here. Can I get like a top? Wow, that's really kind of what I wanted. Just big enough. I don't know why I'm doing this so exact. It doesn't matter that much. Need to make it a little bit longer. Cool. That'll be good enough. Nice. So we have our gun in a box. We can drag one out here. Obviously, you need to. I don't know why I made it so big. Hold on. This needs to be like a 0.2 scale, kind of like the player was. Can I do multiplication in here? Times 0.2. Oh. Times 0.2. Times 0.2. That did not work. Anyway. Let me move it back down to where it was. That looks pretty good to me. So now if we drag one in, it's a decent size. Probably still a little bit too big. And we can go over, and we can just walk over it. But it's in the world. And also we need to change the material to lit. So let's do that. Mask lit sprite material. So now it is lit with the world. Nice. But that right now it's just sitting there. It's not doing anything. So we need to go to our box collision. Depends on our player. Let's go to our capsule component. Pawn on event on component begin overlap. I think this is what I want to use right now. I'll do this in a better way at a different time. but for now, let's do this. So first we want to branch, and we want to check if this other actor that we're overlapping is gun. Or, no, we don't want to branch. I don't think, anyway. Let me check. No. Okay. So we want to cast it to gun, first of all. Just our generic gun. So if we know if it's a gun or not, and we just plug in our other actor right there. So now we know if it's a gun or not. And we'll need a new variable called current weapon, which will be a gun, just a generic gun. We'll set this to what we casted. How the casting works, if it's what we collide with is a child of this, then it'll cast, because it'll have the certain variables that this will have. It might have more, but it won't have less, is basically. Because if we show inherited, this gun 1 has inherited this paper sprite and the box collision, so we can't change those unless we change them in the parent class. So this definitely has the variables that a BP gun has, if it's a gun. And in that case, it can be casted. So what I did in my test, as you probably saw, print string. I'm going to make this pretty simple. If it works, and we set our current weapon, this is going to say gun. If it doesn't, we're going to say not gun. Actually, I don't think there's anything else we can overlap with other than this. So look, we overlap, it prints out gun. Gun. I don't think I can overlap anything else. So that's good. So yeah, gun. So this is good because now we not only know when we walk over it, but we know exactly what it is. And we have our current weapon set to it. So we can access everything that it has. So if we go to something like shooting, we see our delay here. That's the time between each tick. We can get our current weapon. Well, before I do that, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We need class defaults. Oh, I didn't even... I'm dumb. Okay. So this is going to have a new variable, which will be structure. Actually, I should name it gun structure. Gun structure. And it will be our gun, our struct underscore gun. So now every gun will have this structure. So if we go over here, show inherited variables, you'll see this gun structure. And now we can set default values. Because we want our equip texture, I'm going to go over here into our in-game, we'll make it a flipbook. This was for rendering issues I was having. Gun 1. Cool. Gun 1. Cool. It's set. Now our HUD texture will be gun 1 HUD. Easy enough. And we can change our shot interval to something like 0.05. That's really fast. Okay. So right now if we go in, you see, why is that happening? Oh, this is set to 0.05. It's set to something more like 0.2. Did I set this to that? 0.5. 0.1. Now, maybe make sure I'm not losing my mind. 0.2, 0.1. Let's make this one a little higher. 0.5. So now this will shoot every half second. What did I do to this thing? Bullet. Bullet speed. 100, 1500. Yeah, because I did the pseudo two-weapon thing. Okay, so now this shoots. And if we hold it down, it goes. Yep, cool. But if we go here and we get our current weapon, get gun structure, break it, and plug the shot interval into our delay. Okay, this is not what's supposed to happen, but I do know kind of why that happens. Oh well, obviously it's because we don't have a current weapon. So if we go here, we stop picking up the weapon. Oh, but it worked anyway. Oh, it didn't print it, right? It did pick up the weapon, but it didn't print it. So before we have a gun, it kind of goes crazy. But if we pick up the gun, it goes on the interval that I assigned. I know it still looks like it's kind of going crazy. Let me change that again. So something 0.3. So right now it's actually going crazy, but if I pick this up, yeah, perfect. So we can pick up a gun now. And since that was kind of a problem where we're just kind of shooting infinitely, let's solve that, because it is a problem. Make sure you uncheck show inherited variables in case you don't want them. Okay. Let's make a new section for shooting. So things relating to shooting, that's not health and stamina, is shooting, is aiming, is weapon 2 we'll take out soon. But now I want a new variable, can shoot. It'll be in shooting. And this will be false for the most part. You know what I can do? I want to get rid of like half of this. Make transform. Oh, this is just directly copied, isn't it? Oh, no. Redo all that. Cool. Spawn bullet if we can shoot. Which by default will be false. Actually, we only want to do this if this is true. And we'll base this off of a variable. Is gun equipped? I don't know if we need that. I don't think we do need that. Never mind. If we go back to our event graph, when we pick up this gun, we can set can shoot to true. So now before I have a gun, I can aim, but I can't shoot. But when I pick it up, I can shoot. Pretty freaking neat. And now if we want to make another gun, it's pretty simple. Since we made our folder here, all we need is one more of these. And we have another gun. So that's the basic weapon implementation. After this, I think I want to work more on the HUD and getting kind of an ammo system up and running. So mind that. Feel free to make another weapon. You'll just need to make some more sprites. Let me do that real quick. Let's say 16 by 16. Actually, no, that is wrong. 16 by 8 was right. This is what I used for the first gun. And I can say, let's just make this pretty simple. This would not be very effective as a real gun. Probably, I don't know. Yeah, that looks beautiful, doesn't it? Perfect. I'll organize this tutorial content before I upload it again. But this will be gun 2 HUD. And I need to scale that up. Oops. 2048. And then gun 1 in game, I'll scale that back down to 16. Copy, undo, new, 16 by 16, paste. So I just did this for the location of the gun. But as you can see, this gun is very much different. So we'll be seeing the top of it. So let's get the top color. This will look more like the gun that he already had in his hand. So this will be gun 2 in game. Pretty sure I'll need to move it down and over. Well, let's open the first frame of idle. Scale it down for our purposes to 16 by 16. That looks good. So just need to move it down one. Oops. Undo. Save that. Oh, and then scale it up. 2048 by 2048. Very nice, very nice. Get our new textures. Well, let's make a new gun 2. And we can just say new blueprint based off of gun. And this will be gun 2. And we'll get our gun 2 in game and our gun 2 HUD. Maybe. Doesn't like it. There we go. And we'll get sprites for both of these. Now what? We'll set this sprite to gun to HUD. 0.2. Compile, the hitbox doesn't really matter, I'll change it anyway. I know this is going a little bit over, but I just wanted to show you how easy it is to set up another gun. Bullet, don't need that right now. Won't need gun 1. Won't need gun. Okay, and now we just need to show the gun structure. Our equip texture will be gun. It needs to be a flipbook, right? Correct? That is not what I wanted to hit. Create flipbook, gun 2. I'll just name it gun. How about that? HUD texture, gun 2 HUD. Shot interval, let's make it 1. And drag it in. That is the sprite. Drag it in. So now we get in, we can't shoot at all. Now we shoot kind of fast. Now we shoot really slow. So you don't have to have this when you overlap. You can have this to where like you scroll wheel up or down, it'll change. We will get to that soon. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Comment if you have questions or something you'd like to see, and I will see you next time.